Mataji.
Yeah, you can start, Harshit.
Okay. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunadanvitam Sutvam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitam Sa Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamen Iti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namah Vadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Garatrashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustuti Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna. Okay. So, now we have come to 15th chapter. This chapter is we've come to 15th chapter. Okay. So the okay. This first to 6 chapters we talked about karma yoga, the art of doing work. 7th to 12th chapter we talked about bhakti in great detail. And we learned that working with devotion is the greatest karma what we can do, and that is what a devotional service is, the only one which can take us back to Godhead. And from the last session is 13 to 18, which is Jnana Yoga. It talks about Jnana, the knowledge about Krishna in detail. This here we talk about developing analytical knowledge. The essential and conclusive instructions of Krishna of Bhagavad Gita is do devotional service to the Supreme Lord. That is what is the total conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. Nothing but Bhagavad Gita says, whatever you do, keep Krishna in mind and do it for the sake of Krishna. Then we cannot do anything wrong, or we will not waste our time. Every minute we should be conscious. We should always keep Krishna in mind. Okay. In 13th chapter, we discussed about the Supreme Personality, the Jiva and the Prakriti. That is about the Paramatma, Jiva and Prakriti. And then we also discussed about Prakriti, Jiva, Paramatma, Purusha, Sastra, and Kshetra and Kshetrajna, Jnanam and Geyam. And this is all Krishna explained to Arjuna. Okay, now later in 14th chapter, Krishna talked about the 3 modes of material nature: Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna. So, and that chapter also Krishna concluded saying he didn't talk about the Suddha Sattva Guna, which we discussed in SSR class. That we said doing Sattva Guna, here also Krishna told that by doing Sattva Guna, you will take birth in the higher planets. But he never said by doing Sattva Guna, you will go back to Godhead. See, Sattva Guna is doing something in a good consciousness. So that is very important. But in a good consciousness we should do, but that whatever we are doing, we should do it as a service to Krishna. It should have an unalloyed bhakti. Then if you have this kind of a bhakti, if you do everything we do, if we do it for Krishna, then we will go beyond the three modes of material nature. That means, okay, Tamo and Rajo, anyway we will go, and we will go beyond Sattva Guna also. So, and he said, if you are in Sattva Guna, you will go to Brahman. Brahman is the effulgence of Krishna. And this Brahman exists because Krishna exists, because it is a part of Krishna. Okay. So for getting into Sattva-guna or getting into Suddha Sattva-guna, people also have got attachment to certain things. They may not have material attachments, but they will have attachment. They do good things. But why do they do? They do good things to get a good name, or they do good things to help somebody else, so that they will get benefited. Some kind of a thought will be there. But what we should do is, we should not have anything, not even, we should not look for a good name also. We should think, if I do this, will Krishna be happy? Yes, this work will make Krishna happy, so I will do. That's all. Nothing, no thought about ourselves. What will happen to me if I do this? Such kind of a thought should never be there. That is what, and doing everything for Krishna is what is called Suddha Sattvam, and we should work we do should be with that thought. Okay. And now we are coming to the 15th chapter. In this 15th chapter, what Krishna is doing is, he is comparing this material world with a banyan tree. All of you know what's a banyan tree, no? Marichettu. The tree which, a big tree, that is, the tree will grow very big, and then it will, the stems and the leaves will widespread. And to hold the widespread branches, what will happen is, the roots will start from the branches and they will come to the ground. So which will become like a support to the stems. That's how they keep growing. That is supposed to be the biggest tree. So he compares this material world with the banyan tree. But he says not the normal banyan tree. He says the normal banyan tree is the relationships what we have in the Goloka or in the spiritual world. But the banyan tree he is talking about is in the reverse direction. That is, the roots will be upward and the stems and branches will be downwards. It is just reverse the banyan tree. That's what Krishna has explained. So now we will go to the slokas one by one. This chapter is called the Yoga of the Supreme Person, and also this is also known as Purushottama Yoga. So these are the two names for this chapter. Who is reading the 15.1? Who is reading? Yeah. Harshit, you can read.
Yes, Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhamulam Adashakam Asvattam Prahuravyam Chandam Siyasya Parnani Yastam Vedasa Vedavit. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of Vedas.
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree. Imperishable means a banyan tree which exists forever. That means there is no birth and death for this banyan tree. And that has its roots upward and its branches downward. And whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. That means the Vedas, the slokas in the Vedas. One who knows this tree is the knower of Vedas. That means who understands this knows the Vedas. Or we can take a person who understands Vedas also can understand what this banyan tree is, why it is upside down. See, how can there be, if you just think with our common sense, how can there be a tree which is reverse? For a tree to exist, it should have its roots into the ground where the earth will hold the tree and the tree can exist. But here Krishna says the tree is upside down. How can it be like that? It means the tree is actually on the ground only, but if the same tree is on the bank of a river or a lake, how will you see the shadow of the tree? You will see it upside down. You will see the roots up first, and then by going down, you will see the stems. So here, what is the meaning? That means the tree, the shadow of the tree, what the real tree, what we are seeing, the shadow of the tree is called, is what Krishna is talking about. That means this reversal banyan tree is not true. Right? That part you understood, no? If it is a shadow, shadow is not true. It's just a reflection. You can't go and hold the shadow or you can't get any benefit out of the shadow. The tree is different. So, which means the reflection here, what Krishna is comparing is the real tree is the life in the spiritual world. And the life, whatever we are experiencing or enjoying or suffering in this material world is the reflection of the spiritual world. Why did we come here? 100 times we talked about this. Because whatever the position Krishna is holding in the Goloka, we felt jealous of him and we wanted to enjoy it for ourselves. And then we came. So Krishna has blessed us to go here. That means the real world is the Goloka, the spiritual world. But because we wanted to have it for us, Krishna created a toy, like this example also I have taken. When a father or mother is working in the house with her laptop, doing her office work, the child comes and cries for the laptop. What will the parent do? They will buy a toy laptop and then give it to them and say, enjoy. So that way, Krishna also, because we were all feeling jealous there and then hankering to become another Krishna, he said, okay, you go, I'll give you an artificial world, you go there and enjoy. So that's how this material world is created. And so that means this material world is not the truth. It is the reflection of that spiritual world. So whatever is there in the spiritual world, here it is the reflection. So what is that exists here in this material world is, or what is that is holding us in this material world is the desires, the desires. The reflection of the tree is seen only in the water. Similarly, the desires are not really true. They are all our imagination, unnecessary thoughts of ours, like the reflection. The water here is not the thoughts. The water here is the desires of our desires. Our desires are the water. Only if the water is there, the reflection of the tree can be seen. If there is no water, there is no reflection. So there is no material world. There is no reversal banyan tree and there is no material world. So what we have to understand here is, only if the water is there, the reversal banyan tree is there. Similarly, only if the desires are there, we are in this material world. If there are no desires, that means we go beyond the Suddha Sattva, then the material world does not exist. Or at least we don't live in the material world. We will just go back to Goloka. So what we have to do, for a person, it is impossible to live without desires. So here what is important is, what desires are we having is what is important. See, it is impossible to live without eating. But what we eat is what is important. Similarly, everything, what all we have, it is impossible to live without all this. A house, a cloth, or education, or anything. But where do we hold ourselves? Where do we stop ourselves is what is important. Similarly, as it is impossible to live without the desires, what desires we have? We should not have material desires, but we should have spiritual desires. Here, and in the second line, it says, its branches down, whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. So, knowing the Vedas means cutting off the fruitive desires. What does the Vedas have? Sometimes Vedas talk about the yajnas and yagas of the material, which to achieve our material desires. But why the yajnas and yagas are Vedas ask us to do is, see, you are asked to say, don't. So something you wanted something. If your parents say, I won't give you, you will become very adamant on it. You want. So instead of that, what will your parents do? Okay, whatever is right, you do. I'll give this to you for half an hour, 1 hour. You want a mobile phone. Parents doesn't want to give you forever. So he'll say, okay, you finish your homework, I'll give it to you for half an hour. So that way, Vedas also sometimes say, you do the yajnas and yagas, your material requirements will be fulfilled. But here what happens is, once we do this yajna, yagas, and get knowledge about the Vedas, slowly we become more matured and we graduate from the material desires to the spiritual desires. It's a process of graduation. So like that, anything like a mobile phone, like lot of restrictions are there. They say only on a festival day you have to do this. Why? On a festival day you should not do this. Why? It is rather than there is something which you should not do on any day. But if you say don't do it on any day, we are going to do it. So at least on certain days you are asked not to do it, to develop control on yourselves. Like eating non-vegetarian. If they say never eat it, everybody will eat it all 24/7. So what is it told? If you want to eat, if you cannot hold on without eating, you eat on a specific day. And they have described a big process for it. Okay, now we are not following the process, but the Vedas prescribe. It doesn't mean that Vedas said ask you to eat. It is said follow this process. That way, if you understand the Vedas, it means we understand the material desires. Okay, next.
Mataji, can I read second sloka?
Tari, please read.
आद्यास्करो वनिप्रास्तत्यासा सकः गुणः प्रदादना विषया प्रार्थः आद्यास्कामुतया अनुसन्तनि कर्मानुबनि मनस्या लोके. Translation: the branches of this tree extended downward and upward. Nourished by the three modes of material nature, the wings are the objects of the sense. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. The branches of this tree extend downwards and upwards, nourished by the three modes of material nature. Means, see, if you observe any tree, the branches are never straight. Forget about this tree. Any tree, just see. The branches, the sub-branches of a big branch goes into the sub-branches of another branch. So if you just cut one branch, it simply won't fall down. It will go, it will be in between the other branches and it gets locked there. So it's difficult to separate. Like that, here it is said, the branches of this tree extends downwards, upwards, nourished by three modes of material nature. That means downward, upward means different kinds of material nourished. That means how are the branches going bigger and bigger? As our desires grow bigger and bigger, our banyan tree grows bigger and bigger. And our branches goes and mixes with the branches of the next stem. That means one desire fulfilled, to fulfill this desire, the other desire has to be fulfilled. To fulfill that desire, the third desire has to be fulfilled. And if the third desire is fulfilled, then we think, no, because I could achieve this, let me try for the fifth one. That way, all these desires are interlinked. Like we have, like many times we talk, a lot of examples. Like something is given to us, we are never satisfied. Okay, now I got this, finish. Not enough, I have to get that also. Okay, I got that, now I have to get this. Okay, now what will happen? You want a person wanted a bike. Father has given him a bike. Now what he wants? I got a bike. Now I need money for the petrol. Now I got money for the petrol. What do I do with the bike? Now I have to go out. Okay, after going out, what will I do? I'll have to go show this to my friends. After showing it, the friends will say, go, we'll just go for a ride. And then after going, if we just go at the normal speed, we are never happy. We have to go at a high speed. And then the high speed we go, the police fellow will catch and put a challan. And now the challan is there. And now we are afraid of coming and telling father to pay the challan. So what we'll do, we'll come home and then tell a lie to the father. Or the police seizes the vehicle, we'll just come and tell a lie to my friend has taken. So how these are all interlinked. So father says, next day bring the bike. So next day you'll say one more lie. You'll have to pay challan there. You have no money. So you'll have to bluff, or you'll have to do a theft, or you will have to cheat somebody, something like that. So see how one wrong desire of having a bike, I mean, a student need not have, having a bike is not wrong. Do we really require that bike is what is important? We should never urge for anything which we cannot earn on our own. Only the day we can earn and buy for ourselves, that means you have got the eligibility to own that. Like you want to study medicine. Just because I want to study medicine, I can't go and sit in the medical college. I have to pass my 10th, I have to pass my intermediate, I have to write the entrance exam, I have to get qualifying marks, I have to get the top marks, and then only I am eligible there. Similarly, even to fulfill our desires, we should achieve them. Otherwise, the link will be like this only. A small example I have given of the bike. And then once you have bluffed, and then you get accustomed for the bluffing. So next time you want to go out for a movie, no money, you'll get one more bluff. That way, you will, all your desires will get interlinked. So it is impossible to separate the branches of this tree from each other. So that way they will all get mixed with each other. And the reason, the nourishment of these branches is our desires. See, this chapter is very important. Last chapter and this chapter, try to understand. If you don't understand, please ask. And the wings are the objects of the senses. Objects means our eyes, nose, ears, mouth, and all that. How do we get the desires? From looking around, from hearing all these things, from talking, from all these things, our sense objects. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of the human society. That means I have told now, this banyan tree, when it expands, the roots come from the branches, they go straight down into the earth. And then they become like a supporting stick. That means the branches become independent. That means whether the mother tree is there or not, the desire still holds. That means if we die also, the desires take us to the next life. So it is so bad. So the desires can never become ends. So we should never nurture our desires, our three modes of material nature. If you do that, everything, it will become a big mess. And we are always staying back in this material world only. Here, actually, it's not mentioned in this sloka, but Prabhupada has given in the explanation that the fruits of this tree are Ardha, Dharma, Ardha, Kama, and Moksha. That means that Dharma is religiosity. That means a religion means nothing wrong in it. Certain rules formed to live a righteous life is a religion. And Kama, the sense gratification. How are we living for the sense gratification, or are we living for the happiness of Krishna is what is important. Moksha, all of us know what is moksha. So if you live a righteous life, controlling our desires, we get moksha. Ardha. Ardha is economically development, that is money. So all these are the fruits of the tree. So here it is said, so here in the previous sloka it is said it is a it's a what was the word used, that it's a imperishable banyan tree. Why it is said it's an imperishable? That means why it always exists, because our desires are continuous. Because our desires are continuous, so this is never ending. So only way to come out of this is our bhakti yoga. No material desire. That means the day we have no material desires, there is no water. When there is no water, there is no reflection. So the banyan tree in the spiritual world only exists. Okay. So next 3 and 4. Next one is 3 and 4. Who is reading? Pushkar, will you read? Hare Krishna. Pushkar, are you there? Okay, Harshit, read.
Hare Krishna Mata. Narupam asyeha tato palabhyate nanto na chande na cha sampratishtha aspratham ena su viruddha moolam asanga shastrena dridhena chitva tata padam tat parimagitavyam yasyam ghata na nivartanti bhuyah tam eva chandyam purusham prapadye yatha pravrittihi prastrita purani. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jitesh, do you want to read the meaning? Hare Krishna. Are you there, Jitesh?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, read the meaning.
Translation. The real form of this tree cannot be described in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But where determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek the place from which, having gone, one never returns, and the surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time
Immemorable.
The real form of this tree cannot be pursued in this world. So no one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, no one returns, and there surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. So here Krishna is talking about how to cut this tree. Cutting the tree means we have discussed in now that the root cause of this tree is the desires. That means what is that we have to cut? We have to cut the desires. How will we cut the desire? With the acts of detachment. Only when we think that this is mine, we develop affection on it. We develop attachment on it. So by developing detachment on this, we should cut the tree. We should cut the tree. That means no attachment on anything. We should work for our, what we call this, for our, in the righteous way, for our dharma, for our dharma. That's how we should work, but not for any attachment. So see, like in the previous example, what I told, you have developed attachment on the motorcycle. So you started doing all wrong things. Suppose you have no attachment on this motorcycle, you won't do all those things. You will happily, for going out also, if you have a motorcycle, you want to go everywhere. If you have no motorcycle, you will only go to the places where it is required. That way, if the attachment is cut, if the detachment is developed, then the tree will automatically perish. So no one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. Foundation is for a desire. You can never find out the root cause of the desire. For everything, there will be a lot of links. From there it starts. But with a determination, one must cut this strong-rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. So only thing that is important is determination. If you want to study well in the class, what is that will make you study well? A determination. I have to finish this homework today. I have to come first in the class. I have to get more knowledge than anybody. I have to learn all these slokas. What is all this? This is determination. With that determination, you can cut down the roots of the tree with the appearance of detachment, not mine. So this bike is only spoiling my life. So I don't want this bike. That is where the detachment comes. If you know the negative effect of attachment, you get the detachment. Thereafter, one must seek the place from which, having gone, one never returns. So wherever you go whole day, where do you want to come back? You want to come back home in the night. Similarly, we should seek for the place, should look for the place where once we go, we will never come back. And there surrender to the Supreme Personality. Why do we surrender for Supreme Personality? Once we go there, it is only Supreme Personality who is there. So only when we want to surrender to him, we can go there. From whom everything began. All this creation has come from him, from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. That means, as we know, this exists forever. There is no beginning or end of this. So it is which from whom? From Krishna, everything comes. So we should only think of going there and not for these temporary material benefits. Okay, right. And yeah, that is for third and fourth sloka. Fifth sloka. Where is this one? Pushkar, are you there at least now? Hare Krishna, Pushkar. Jitesh, you know this sloka? Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha. This is what we studied this sloka, no? this body. Okay. Pushkar. Hare Krishna, Pushkar. Hare Pushkar, tell me if you are reading or not. If you are reading, you read. Otherwise, say no. Okay, Harshit, read.
Mataji, can I read?
Yeah, please read.
Nirmana Mohajita Sangadosa Adhyatam
Adhyatma Nitya.
Nitya Vinivrita Kama
Ramaha.
Dhavan
Dvandvaiti Mukta.
Mukta Sukha Dukha Gachanti Amuda Padam
Patama.
Ta. Translation. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false occasion, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and desire, and who, when
Unbewildered.
bewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Personality, attain to that eternal kingdom. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Here it is explained how to surrender to the Adi Purusha, to the Supreme Personality. Those who are free from the false prestige. See, we all think we are this body. That is the first false prestige we have. We think I have so many marks, I have so many good clothes, I have so many vehicles. These are all false prestige because we don't know. Actually, these are all temporary for us. The beautiful cloth what we wear today is torn tomorrow. Similarly, this beautiful body, whatever we have today, is gone into the mud tomorrow. That is false prestige. Illusion. That is illusion also same. We think we have a lot of things, but nothing is permanent. False association. Associating with the wrong people. We think we have so many people around for us for helping, but how many people will stand for us? That is false. And also making association with a wrong guy who will guide us into the wrong direction, who understand the eternal, who are done with the material lust. That means here above three should not be there. These two should be there, who understand the eternal, who are done with the material lust. That means no material desires, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, whether something good happens or bad happens, you should take it in the same way. So your father says, I'll take you out today, and he doesn't come. Okay, if he has come, go out, enjoy. If he doesn't come, you should understand, maybe father loves me, I know, but still he has not come and taken me. That means he is busy elsewhere. He is doing something more important. That is how we should take happiness and distress. And who unbewildered know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that. So he should surrender to the Supreme Person and attain to the eternal kingdom. So such kind of a person doing all this is surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. 6. Yeah, Harshit, read. Harshit.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Natad Basayate Suro Nasashanko na Pavakaha Yad Jnata na Vivatante Tadhama Paramam Mama. Translation. The supreme abode of mind is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Hare Krishna.
the supreme abode of mind. That means Krishna is telling the qualities of the Goloka. Here our of mind is not illuminated by sun or moon. So today we see so much of light outside. Why? Because of the sun. If the sun doesn't exist, no light at all. It is total darkness. And either and in the night also, in certain days, you see some light of the sun, moon, nor the fire or the electricity. So there is no electricity supply in Goloka, nor if any fire is required. Those who reach it never return to the material world, because the life is so happy, so comfortable there. We will never want to come back. See, once you are given a very comfortable life in your house, you think, my neighboring boy is so happy, I'm not happy. If only I was born in that house, I would have been more happier. But once you go and stay there in the house for 2 days, then you will know the fun, how happy you were in your house. So once you come back, you will never complain, I will go back to that house again. Similarly, when we were in Goloka, we never understood the beauty of Goloka. And so we cried and wanted, and we came to the material world. And once we go back to the Goloka, we will never want to come back. See, here there is no light or light if there is no sun or moon. But there, everything is self-effulgence. Everything, it's always bright. See, in the world, what happens when there is no sun? There are places where for months together there is no sunlight, and that kind of places people get depressed. They go actually in foreign countries where it is very cold, there are many people in the winter season, they get into depression because they can't move, there is no freedom, there's always suffering. We get into depression. So we are so comfortable in India that way. So in Goloka, it's always light only. Next, 7. I think, Jitesh, you can read this. You know this. Mavai Vamso Jeva Loke. Jitesh, you know this Sloka, no? Are you there? Read.
Mamai Vamso Bhagavad Sanatan.
Mavai Vamso Jeva Loke Jiva Bhutaha Sanatanaha. Yeah. You have this in SSP, no? You forgot all SSP slokas. Yeah, read. The voice is not, we are audible.
Translation. In the conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses. Why they include the mind, which include the mind. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. We know five senses. So the 6th senses, the main root cause of all this, whatever the other 5 senses see, it is triggered in the mind. So these senses, because of these senses, we struggle in this world. So here Krishna is explaining how we are from, not only in this, from 7th to 11th slokas, Krishna is explaining how we are transmigrating from one body to other. Okay, from Goloka we have come here. From here we are not going back to Goloka. Why? From this body we are taking one more body. Why? Why are we taking one more body? Is what is explained in this next 4 slokas. So here fragmental means the small portions which come out of the Krishna is what are the jivas in this material world. Okay, these small portions, separated energies, are the panchabhutas. See, when it comes to, even the panchabhutas are generated from Krishna only, but when it comes to when Krishna addresses the Panchabhutas, he says they are all his amsas. But when he talks, when he talks about jivas, that means about the living entities, Krishna says they are all his amsas. That means he is owning them. Krishna owns us. Krishna always says, you are no different from me. We are all same. But we don't own Krishna. We always think he is somebody else. So why I am saying this is, if we think Krishna and we are same, every minute we'll think about Krishna only the way we think about ourselves. Okay? So Krishna is always owning us, but we are never owning Krishna. Okay. And so here the jiva has a spiritual in nature, which is a part and parcel of Krishna. This jiva, as we know, we are all part and parcel of Krishna's. Who says this? The Sanatana, and we are all eternal. Krishna says this, and we are all eternal. That means we don't belong to this material world. Here, again, we know this, that we are Anu and he is Vibhu. That means quantitatively we are one and qualitatively different. Quantity means some quality which he has, we also have. If we have, he has it 100%, we have it 0.00001%. That means we have the quality, but very small we have, whereas he has it in huge. Okay. Here, why are we struggling? If we know that Krishna is the ultimate, we won't struggle, because we won't have, then we will immediately understand that this material world is not ours. The moment we understand that this material is not ours, we will have detachment. Okay. So, Sloka 8. Pushkar, are you there? Yeah, please read. Who is reading? Harshit, read.
Hare Krishna. Shariram yad avapnoti yachhapi utkarati swara grahitva tvaitane samyati vahir gandhan tvasa ayvasat. Translation. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. The living entity in material world carries how different concepts of the life from one body to another. As we discussed from 7 to 9 slokas, Krishna will explain how we are taking one body to other instead of going back to Goloka. So, carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as air carries the aroma. Thus, he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. This is, all of us know, we all develop a lot of desires in this life. Some are fulfilled, some are not fulfilled. And we have so much of desire. So when we die also, the body perishes. But the mind carries all this. They are attached to the soul and it carries it to the next life. So when we are dying, we die with that desires. So as we know, when we die, whatever desires we have, we take birth similar to that. So the way, the aroma, the smell, there is a flower there. How does the smell from that place to come to our nose? The air carries it. Similarly, the soul carries all these desires to the next life. The moment there are no desires, there is no next life. This is what we have to understand. So what happens? See, suppose you are studying in a class and then you don't study. A person who studies well, a person who studies very well gets a double promotion. And then he goes to some other level where we cannot even reach him. A person who studies well will go to the next class. Suppose a boy is there who just doesn't study, where will he be? He will be in the same class. New classmates will come. Similarly, we also, because we are not understanding what is the truth, we are struggling. We are there in that class only. That means we are struggling in the material world only. Here the main question is, the question what everybody gets is, Krishna is such a powerful man. Why he does not manipulate our intelligence? That means he can change our desires, no? He can do such a miracle where all our desires will go off. Then the total, everything, all the problems are solved. I have so many desires. Suppose Krishna has so much of power that he can make me forget all my desires. But why he does not do is what is very important. We should understand. See, suppose your father is there. He gets on his own, he brings something for you and use. How happy he will be. And suppose he doesn't, and there is something in the neighbor's house which you wanted. So you make a lot of fuss. You suppose your brother is having something which you want. You make a lot of fuss, cry for it, don't eat, make a mess out of the house. And due to frustration, your father is saying, okay, take it. And what is the level of happiness? You might win, but the happiness what you get, it's not about you, your father. The happiness, what he gets or what you get when it's voluntarily done is different from what is by force given. That so similarly, Krishna also doesn't want. What is devotional service? It is love to God. That means we have to love Krishna voluntarily on our own. Then only that is the real love. That is the real devotional service. So that way, Krishna has given us the free will to do that. But that free will we are misusing. So, and he has even guided us how to do. He has given Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, which we can use out of our own choice. Understand this, and then we can start loving Krishna. So we should not do this by force. It should be done voluntarily. Okay, 9. Yeah. Hare Krishna, read. We read. Harshit, read. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sarotram Sakustuha Sparsanam cha Rasanam Grahanam eva cha Abhisthaya Manaschayam Visayam Upasavate.
Yeah.
The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects.
The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, tongue, nose, sense, and touch, which are grouped about the mind. So based on the desires, whatever we have, this life, we will have our sense objects. He thus enjoys a particular sense objects. That means a person who always wanted love swimming in as a human being, next life he might be born as a fish. A person who always looks at the sky and sees how beautiful it will be if I keep flying, he'll be born as a bird. A person who always wants to exhibit their body, they'll be born as a tree. That means they're always on the road, just standing there. Anybody can look at them who wanted to exhibit themselves. That way, based on on the desires we develop in this life, and based on the positive or negative karma we develop in this life, we get the next life. That means just we have this with that we have lot of desires this life, it doesn't mean that they will all be fulfilled in a positive direction. I think I told you this story also. One fellow was thinking, I should always have a bag in with me, where always lot of that bag should be always full of money. Next life, but he didn't do any positive karma, but he was desirous. So next life he was born as a bus conductor. He always has a bag with him which is full of money, or he is born as an accountant in the bag who always have cash on his hand but never. And one fellow wanted to always think, I should have no expenditure, only incoming, only incoming, only incoming. So the next life, that fellow was born as a beggar at the temple, because the beggar doesn't have any expenditure. He doesn't need to buy, eat, or wear clothes, or have a house or anything. It's only a collection of money. So that way, having a desire is very dangerous. When we have a desire, we should have a proper karma, a positive karma, which will fulfill the desire in a positive direction. We have accumulate positive karma. The same fellow might be born in a very rich house. After being born in a very rich house, what he should do? He should, because he already has a lot of money for his livelihood, he should spend that time there for devotional service and then go back to Goloka. That way, it's very important to develop desires and also to develop positive karma to fulfill the desires. Best thing is not to have desires, but in case you have desires, this is how it will go. Next. Harshit, read. We'll go fast. Yeah. Harshit.
Hare Krishna Mata.
Hare.
Utkramantam stitham vapi bhunjanam va gunanvitam vimudha nanu pasyanti jnana chakshushaha. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of modes of nature, material nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. See, just now I gave you the examples. We don't understand the negativity of having desires. How we should quit the body. We are quitting it with negative karma and lot of desires. You become a beggar at the temple or a tree on the road. Nor can understand the sort of body he enjoys on the spell of the material modes. That means if I always want to swim, I'm going to be a fish. So should I have the desires for swimming? What do I get by swimming? Is the knowledge what we should develop. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. So the desire, ones who have the knowledge will only understand. That means suppose there is a 2000 rupee note which is given to you, and another 2000 rupee note which is given to a small baby next to you. What will you do? Because you know the value of the 2000 rupee note, you will put it carefully somewhere or go and give it to your parents saying, so-and-so has given me this 2000 rupee note. And if I give the same 2000 rupee note to a baby, what will he do? He doesn't differentiate it anyway from a paper. He will slowly tear it or put it in his mouth and chew. That way, the body, the desires, whatever we have, we should know the negative effect of those desires. So that we need a pure consciousness. We should have the right knowledge. 11. Read. Read, Harshit.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yatanto yoginaschainam pasyanti atmani avastitham yatyanto api akritam mano nainam pasyanti echa Tasaha, the endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly, but those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try.
The
Hare Krishna.
endeavoring transcendentalist who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. Like the example I told you about the 2000 rupee note. If you have the right knowledge, you will see it clearly. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization, that means here you don't have the right knowledge about the Krishna and about the real desires. One cannot see what is taking place, though they may try. So here what is important is we need pure consciousness, and this thing will only come with association with the purified souls or spiritually inclined souls. So here, as we know, tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. That way, what happens is, if you have wrong association, we will develop wrong thoughts, and then we will not understand the real. So we should not get associated with material people, but we should have some contact with the spiritual people who will guide us properly. From 12th to 28th, here it is explained, knowing Krishna means knowing everything is what is explained. That is why it is called Purushottama Yoga. That means knowing about Purushottama. Even in the material world also, it is Krishna. We should know that. We always think Krishna is in Goloka, but we should know that even though Krishna has sent us here, it is He who is maintaining us here. And who always keeps telling me, sitting inside us telling, no, what you're doing is wrong. No, what you're doing is wrong. Don't waste your time, or don't spoil this. This kind of things He always tells. That is our consciousness. That is what, who is alerting the consciousness? It is Krishna who is alerting the consciousness. And He is even fulfilling all this at the cosmic level and at the personal level also. That means who is maintaining all this creation? Who is putting all these planets in the orbits? It's all Krishna who is doing it. Who is doing this? Okay, please read the 12th sloka, Harshit.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Aditya Gatam Tejo Jagad Bhasyate Khilam Yat Chandramasi Yat Chagnau Tat Tejo Vidhi Mamakam. The splendor of the sun which dissipates the darkness of this whole world comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So in this 12th sloka, Krishna is telling that the sun, the splendor of the sun, which despite the darkness of this whole world, comes from me. We think sun is giving us the light and heat, but where does the light and heat come? It comes from Krishna only to it. And the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. That means here, even though Krishna is telling the moon, the sun, because they are the root cause, because from them only everything comes. If there is no sun, if there is no moon, we know the moon gives the taste to the food and vegetables. This we have studied previously, no? And then the sun, because of the sun, because of the heat, because of the light only, the total material world exists. We think it is the sun and moon that is doing all this. Many people worship sun and moon. They think it is only the sun and moon. But Krishna says it is me who is giving that power to the sun and moon. So we should never forget that there is somebody beyond all these things. Yeah, 13th sloka. Yeah. Yeah, Harshit. Harshit, read.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Namavasyacha bhutani dhyayami aham ojasa pushyami chaushadhi sarva Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha. I enter in each planet and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to the vegetables. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, this I have just now told. As who is giving the taste to the vegetables, the juice in the vegetables. Just see, when there is a fruit, as long as the juice is there only, the taste comes. Just leave the fruit outside, it becomes dry, the taste also goes off. So the taste, the juice comes from the moon. I enter into each planet and my energy, they stay in the orbit, because we know it is impossible for humans to do something the way this planetary system is running. A small 0.1 degree movement also, there will be a big blast. One planet will go and hit another, the other planet will go and hit another, and then the total disaster. It is not happening. Why? That is the beauty of Krishna. That is the beauty of Krishna's power. If you want to understand Krishna's power, this is how we should understand. I become the moon and thereby supply the juices to all the vegetables. If you are enjoying all this taste of the food, it is because of the juices which is given to the vegetables and fruits by Krishna. Yeah, 14. Yeah, Harshit.
Aham Vaisnaro Bhutva Prarinam Deham Ashvata Prana Samataha Pachami Anam Chaturvidam. I am the fire of digestion and the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of foodstuff. Hare Krishna.
Right. I'm the fire of digestion. See, if we all of you know, our body is always at a temperature. That is the reason. The moment we die, the temperature is gone. That is the fire. That is the soul. If it is there, the fire is there in the body, and in the heat, in the stomach. It is when we feel hungry. That is what it is. The fire, the acids. So the fire of the digestion in the body of all the livings. He is the fire. So if he is not there, the digestion is also stops. And I join with the air of life, going and coming in to digest the four kinds of foodstuffs. He says that the prana vayu, whatever air we inhale and whatever air we exhale, is also Krishna is only doing. And Krishna mixes, Krishna is also mixed in it and keeps doing. And he helps in digestion. He says there are four types of foodstuffs. They are Bhaksha, Bhoga, Lakya, and Chausya. That is, one is chewing, and one is drinking, one is licking, and one is sucking. That means different kinds of foods we take in a different mode, in a different style. That means hard food we chew, something very soft we lick, and something certain things we drink, and certain things we suck. That kind of foods all are there, which I am the four kinds of foods. Yeah. 15. Sarvasya Chaham. Jitesh, will you read? You forgot this also. Huh? Read. I'm not able to hear you. I'm not able to hear you. No. Hello. Hello. Okay. Read.
सर्वस्य अहं विधिसन्निवासः मत्स्मृत ज्ञानम् अपहस्नां च वेद्यश्च सर्वरियहम् एव वेद्यो वेदवित् एवं च Translation. I am seated in everyone's heart and
From me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedant and I am the knower of the Vedas. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, all of you know this sloka very well. I am seated in everyone's heart. So he sits, as I told you just now, he sits in the heart and keeps alerting us. This is good, this is bad, don't do it, do it. But we don't listen to him. He is there in our heart. And from me comes the remembrance. If we think we remember, we forgot, it's not our talent, it is he. And when we go to the next life, how are we carrying all this? It is because of the mercy of Krishna only. The remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. See, some we feel that this man is very knowledgeable, this man is dumb. Why all that? It is because of Krishna only, based on our previous karma. By all the Vedas, I am the knower. How to know Krishna? By studying the Vedas. Instead of studying Vedas, we can even study Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and know Krishna. Why? Because these books talk only about Krishna. So to know about him, we have to read them. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta. So all these Vedas are such a huge books. So he is the one who has written those Vedantas. And I am all the Vedanta and I am the knower of Vedas. Why do you say that he is the only one who knows the Vedas? Because he has written the Vedas. When there is a book written by me, I know every word of the book. That is why, because the Vedas have come from Krishna, Krishna knows all the Vedas. 16. Hitesh, read. Not Hitesh, Harshit, read. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dvav imau purushau loke Snara Chakshara eva cha Ksharaha Sharvani Bhutani Kutastitho Aksharat Uchate. There are two classes of beings, fallible and infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible.
Hare Krishna. There are two classes of beings, the infallible, the fallible and infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible. And in the spiritual world, every living entity is infallible. Fallible means fallible, infallible. The other words are akshara and kshara. Kshara means stable. He is very stable. Infallible means akshara. That means unstable. That means once we go to the spiritual world, we are very stable. That means we are permanent there. But the moment we here from Sloka 16 to 19, Krishna is going to explain about the summary of all the Vedas. So here he is telling that in the material world, every living entity is unstable. That means we are not permanent here. Whereas in the spiritual world, all the living entities are stable. That's what he has explained. The summary of Vedas. Next one, Harshit.
Uttama Purushastvan Anyaha Paramatmeti Udattaha Yo Lokatrayam Avashya Bibhyati Avyaya Ishvara. Besides these two, there is greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has created the three worlds and is maintaining them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Besides these two, besides Akshara and Kshara, there is a greatest living personality. So, who are Akshara and Kshara? We. Akshara and Ksharas. The Supreme Personality of the Soul. So, he is not Kshara, he is not Akshara. He is eternal. The Supreme Personality of the Soul is The greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, is imperishable Lord Himself. That means He is permanent. He is the Paramatma who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. He is the one who is maintaining. We all know, we have studied all this many times. He is the Supreme Personality. He is the permanent. He is there forever and He is maintaining all the worlds. That means or the Buloka, the higher planets, the lower planets, all these things are maintained by the Paramatma only, who is the Supreme Soul and who is imperishable. He is maintaining all this. 18. Yeah, read, Harshit. Harshit.
Hare Krishna. Yasmaksharam atitho aham aksharad api sotamaha ato asmi loke vede cha pratyuttaha purushotamaha. Because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in world and in the Vedas as that supreme person. Hare Krishna.
Because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas and in the supreme, as that supreme person. So here Krishna is talking about himself, that he is the supreme personality and he is the greatest. Why? Because he is the creator, he is the origin, he is everything. I am celebrated both in this world and in the Vedas and as that of supreme person. What does the Vedas talk about? The Vedas talk about Krishna only. So he says the super soul is superior to fallible and infallible. Those are all various stages taken by the other souls. But Krishna is beyond all this and he is the greatest. He is the orbit of the worship of all the devotees. That means we all revolve around it, and because of him only, everything exists. 19. Yeah, read, Harshit.
Hare Krishna. Yomam evam asu mudho jnanati purushottamam sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in the full devotional service of me, O son of Bharata. See, we have to understand one thing. We do a lot of mistakes. Why do we do all these mistakes? Because we don't know. One is arrogance, false ego, that no, it's okay. The other one is because we are ignorant. See, the moment we know that this is true, this is the ultimate, this is the what is the final thing, can we go beyond that? We cannot know. You know that to go to the next class, you have to write the exam. So you will compulsorily write the exam. So whoever knows me, that means whoever knows about Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, without any doubt, he knows everything because he is everything. And then therefore engages himself in full devotional service. See, we also think that we know Krishna, but what we know is only peripheral. That is why we don't spend our lives in total devotion to Krishna. The moment we really know about him, we will not act like this. Our life will be different. The total surrender will be there. So knowing about Krishna, we should understand all this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam very sincerely. We should develop faith and we should start practicing. Then what will happen is we will engage ourselves in the devotional services and then we will finally reach the Goloka. Next, last one. Read, Harshit. Yeah, Harshit, read.
Hare Krishna. Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktvam maya naha etad buddha buddhiman sayat Kritasya cha Bharata. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and is it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures. O sinless one, and it is disclosed by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and endeavor will know perfection, and his endeavors will know perfection. See, here Krishna is telling this is the most confidential knowledge. See, we know the most confidential is Bhagavad Gita. Why? It talks about Krishna. It is the most confidential. It is a very confidential. Means it talks about all the Vedic scriptures. It is the confidential. It is more confidential, and it is the most confidential knowledge. And it is revealed to the sinless Arjuna by Krishna, because he is a perfect man and he will become more perfect. We can understand Krishna only by understanding Krishna through a proper guru. How will we understand? Just by reading Bhagavad Gita on our own, we can never understand. We'll get a lot of doubts. The day we attach ourselves to a proper guru and take the understanding, the explanation from him, we will understand Krishna. So that is the proper way to surrender to Krishna. So we have to understand that he is the ultimate, and we have to understand in this chapter about the banyan tree that we are living as a reversal banyan tree. So the moment our desires go, it doesn't mean that we have to live like a sannyasi. We should know what are the right desires, what are the minimum things that are required, and then live for them. Then all the desires will vanish. We should study, we should grow up, we should take up a job, we should get married, and everything. We should take care of parents, everything. But we should know where to limit ourselves. We should not, the way the banyan tree has the trees branches go from one branch to other, one branch to other, one branch to other. It should not happen continuously. We should know where to stop. That is what is main thing in this. So in the previous chapter, we talked about the three modes of material nature, and because of the material nature only the desires come. So here we should know that all the root cause of all the struggle here is only the desires. So we should know where to stop our desires. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Harshit. Because of you, I could complete this today. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
We are left with only 3 more chapters. I think the others are very busy with their exams. So anyway, we'll finish it off next 3 chapters. Next chapter is also small, 24 slokas only. And the 17th is also small. One day it will be over. But the 18th might take little time. In the next 3-4 classes, we'll finish it up.